Hey, this is Nessyp of Nessyp Entertainment and the Inner Sanctum Radio, and we are here with Robbie Jenkins. You guys, I am so
Hey,
excited. I am so excited. Robbie, what's been going on with you, mister?
how you doing? First of all, let me just say it's a pleasure to be here. I finally got a chance to sit with you
I know,
and
right?
your audience, and I'm really excited to be here. So I want to say that first, and thank you for inviting me.
Oh, you're more than welcome. It's my
Yeah,
honor, really. It really is.
thank you.
So, what
So,
have you been up to?
well, recently I released a new single. It's a remake of Bill Withers' classic "Lovely Day." And it's getting a nice little buzz. I haven't done a really hard push to promote it as of yet. I was really waiting for the video to be done, and that was just recently done about a week or so ago.
Oh,
So now we're starting what I would call phase two of the promotional phase. So, and you're a part of it.
hey, you
You're
guys
making
go
it.
listen to the Inner Sanctum at Live 365 Radio, 12 o'clock noon Eastern Standard Time, and you can hear Robbie's version of A Lovely Day. I love it. I thought
Thank
it
you.
was awesome. So,
Thank
what made you want to do that particular song?
Well, first of all, about maybe I would say now 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago,
Okay.
um, someone that I know over in Belgium was saying, "Look, you need to get some music over here, and the best way to do it is to start off with something that people are already familiar with,
Okay.
because then they'll start looking into what else you have in your catalog, and it kind of builds a following for you that way." So I was always dead set against doing cover versions of other people's songs. I always felt like it was just bad karaoke. you know, it's so there's usually nothing really quite touches the original. So I always find original versions of songs to be sacred. And just because it was a hit for somebody else doesn't necessarily translate well for other
That is
people.
very true.
So, so I said, okay, if I'm going to do something, I'm not going to do a cover version. I'm going to do a remake. And so I picked that song because it was always one of my top 10 favorite songs. And I decided to do like an Afrobeat kind of house version of it.
Right.
And so what you have as a result is that. And I actually recorded that in September of 2018.
Oh my goodness.
Yep, that's when we were working on the project then. The contact I had over in Belgium actually started getting involved with a couple of different projects, and one of
Mhm.
them was he bought into being a partner in a nightclub that was like 3 floors. So it was like this massive project, and he had to put this whole thing on the back burner. So I sat on it until I would say December of last year. I
Okay.
decided coming into this year, I said, you know what? I'm just going to release it in 2020. I don't know when yet. I didn't really have an idea until like late January. And then I decided I was going to do it on June 19th for two reasons. One is that it's Juneteenth,
Hmm.
which is very important in our culture. And also because it happened to also be the first day of summer. So I put in a request with Bill Withers Publishing Company. He and his daughter runs it,
Hmm.
um, and they heard it, and they gave me the thumbs up. And so it was slated for June 19th. Unfortunately, Bill passed away on the end of March. I think it was the 30th of March.
Right.
So he wasn't, able to see the final results of the release, but at least he heard it.
Wow. So was his daughter, I was assuming, was happy with that since she gave you guys the thumbs up.
Yeah, yeah. And the way it really works is you file what's called a compulsory license.
Hmm.
And with a compulsory license, it's not necessarily based on the original party's approval. It's just letting them know I'm going to do this, but I'm also going to make sure you get paid what you're supposed to when I
Okay.
release it. Um, but it helps that they liked it. It made me feel better. I don't want to, feel like I'm bogarting somebody and
Right.
muscling them into,
Right.
doing something. But yeah, it was really, really nice
So do you
gesture.
have any other songs out there that's on the back burner that you want to now that you're going to do that? I mean, with the since you didn't like doing covers and you wind up doing that, is there other songs that you may be interested in doing?
It took me a while to come up with that one. Actually, I mean, the way I just told it, you would think I just said, "Oh," but I didn't. It took me a while to even come up with that song, even though it was one of my favorites, because I just wanted to be sure that I wasn't going to be putting myself in a situation where I was going to be compared to the original
Mm-hmm.
version in any way. I just wanted to really try to make it my own signature.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's the kind of thought that goes into it. The most common comparison I get is, you should do a Stevie Wonder song. I said, oh no. I mean, I love Stevie. I'm his number one fan. I've been that since age 3. My mama
Okay.
could tell you that. Right? But the whole thing is, if you sound similar to an artist, then people start to automatically compare you to them. And then they start saying things like, oh, you're trying to sound like them,
Okay.
that kind of thing.
Okay.
So I stayed away from Stevie's catalog as much as I love it. And as tempting as it has been, I just haven't touched it. So I'm not really sure. I'm not
See, I
really
was
sure. There
thinking
could
more
be.
of a Brian McKnight type. You have
Oh,
that
wow.
kind of Brian McKnight type sound for me.
Ah,
So because
Brian's another one of my favorites.
yeah, the first song that I heard you sing was "Wherever You Go," and
Okay.
that is still one of my favorite songs. It is still, I
Oh,
mean,
wow.
it's still in the rotation on the radio station. And so
Wow.
you did that quite a while ago, right?
Yes. Hmm.
And so now with you doing a lovely day, is that part of an EP that you're about to release, or what are you working on with that?
Um, yes. It didn't start off to be that. Initially it was just going to be a single, for
Mhm.
Belgium, and then I released it here. It's starting to become viral very gradually.
Mhm.
But I immediately started thinking about some of the other songs in my catalog. I recorded another song, and I have to go back. There's a couple of lines I want to sing over because I'm just really particular like that.
Okay.
But the name of the song is Rain. It's a mid-tempo ballad, and as you could tell, probably ballads and mid-tempo songs are like my favorite things to do.
Yeah, but that
Um,
fits your voice though. For
yeah,
me, I can
I
because I'm your like number one fan. So for
appreciate that.
me, your voice just fits like that, and that's why I thought Brian McKnight is just like you just got that Brian McKnight vibe. I mean, not
Oh,
saying that you sound like him, but it's just that the way he just does his stuff. That's what it reminds me of.
yeah, I had the opportunity to meet Brian. Now it's going back maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
Hmm.
What a humble person, just really humble and down to earth. We already know how incredibly talented he is, but
Hmm.
he's really, really, he downplays it. He just does, publicly. He's just not that, he's not that guy that's out there. Hey, look at me, listen to me. That comes out on stage, obviously, and on his recordings. But if I didn't know that he was Brian McKnight and I didn't
Hmm.
know that he sang, or I wouldn't have a clue.
Really? Cause see,
Yeah.
you even got that vibe going on too. Cause you're a very humble person. I mean,
Oh,
we have been talking for years now, and
yes.
I've always got that sense with you that you've always been a really humble person. So you kind of see, you need to do a Brian McKnight for me, you know. Okay, so have you released, because the fact that I haven't talked to you for a while,
Hmm.
I think the last thing you were working on was um, Evolution.
Yep. Hashtag evolution.
Hashtag evolution. So
Hmm.
how did that? I mean, where is that now? I mean, are you still releasing things from that EP or
It,
not?
it still has a life of its own. I mean, I haven't really directly done anything to promote it in the last year or so,
Hmm.
but people are still snatching it up, buying different singles from it. Um, the unique thing about that album was that I did it with an intent, a very direct intent on doing the selection of songs that I did. And if you listen to the album from start to finish, it's 10 songs, but they're all markedly different. They're not. It's just not a groove album that you hear one groove from one song to the
Right.
next. Um, and what really started is I had a friend of mine who worked for Steve Colbert,
Oh.
and so he had set up a meeting with me with the talent coordinator, and and she heard my first album Because It Feels Right, and
Mhm.
she's like, I love everything about it, just not good for late night television. I was like, why not? So her thing was that because it's so smooth and it's late night, you might put people to sleep.
Oh my
He
goodness.
said they'll just get too relaxed. We need something really energetic. So that's with the hashtag Evolution album. Um, it started off only being called Evolution because it's a kind of an evolvement for me as an artist in terms of the styles of music that I approached and the topics I even talked about, like
Okay.
domestic abuse and things like that. So in any case, that was the specific reason why I even embarked on that project to begin with. But I'm really proud of it. I'm proud of that that body of work. I'm proud of the musicians who helped to record it.
Mhm.
Um, One of my best friends, um, Wes Young, he played drums on that, and he was very ill at the time. He has since passed away. He had cancer,
I'm sorry.
um, but he you couldn't stop him from getting to the studio. In fact, one of the sessions, he had gotten released from the hospital that morning, and he lived in Westchester County or Orange County, I think, New York, and he drove up, and that was like a good 2.5 hour ride for him.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and he's playing. It takes a lot of energy to play drums. I mean,
Right.
yeah, even for a really healthy person, and he really wasn't that healthy, but you could barely tell. Like he didn't even talk about it.
He
You
didn't
know,
miss a beat.
never.
Oh
And
my
then
goodness.
he was even after he was done, he stuck around to kind of give feedback on different things. So he was very instrumental. His spirit is in that whole album from start to finish for me.
My
So
goodness.
yeah.
Okay, so Robbie, what organizations have you been working with? Because I know there are a couple that you kind of well, not dibble and dab, but some of them that are really your babies, so to
Yeah,
speak.
yeah. Um, let's see. Until recently, because I really kind of put a lot of my civic work on the back burner for a minute so I can focus a little bit on me,
Mhm.
which is hard. But I work a lot with a lot of youth organizations in my hometown, a lot of civic organizations. Um, the NAACP was kind enough to give me an award a few years back. They call it the Harry Belafonte Artist Award, and I got a key to the city some years ago for community service. So I've just really been, and I've done some things. There was an organization a friend of mine started called Brothers and Sisters United for Change, and he started that right after the original Million Man March. Right, everybody that was there was charged to go back to their communities and start something and do something. And he started that organization. So I was very active in that organization. We did a lot of really great things in the community. We did health fairs. We had Dr. Cornell West come up and speak. We did educational forums. We we attacked social issues that were that were really affecting our community, and even some of the services that we were supposed to be provided with equally as others. We touched on that too. So I was pretty busy. I mean, I still kind of do things very subtle and behind the scenes nowadays, but yeah, yeah. And I still do a lot of mentoring. I still do that. A lot of young musicians, young producers that coming up. In fact, right before this session, I was on the phone with one of them. He's got a studio session tomorrow.
Oh, that sounds so interesting. So are there particular genres of music that you're working with these young people with? I mean, are jazz, blues,
Um,
R&B?
the young man that I just spoke with, he's a rap artist,
Mm-hmm.
and his younger brother actually is a producer, and he's actually really good. He's got a great ear, for music.
Mm-hmm.
Both do, but it's whoever. Doesn't matter what genre of music it is. If you're really into music, then it's all music.
It's all music. So, Robbie, are you rapping now?
Am I what?
Are you rapping now?
No, only gifts. Um,
Yes.
I a lot of times I've been featured like singing hooks on different artists' projects. I'll do that from time to time,
Okay.
uh, but I haven't even really been doing a whole lot of that recently because I've just been really focused on moving forward with my project.
Okay. Are you making any appearances anywhere right now?
It's been very difficult, of course, because of the pandemic, but I've been asked, because we filmed that video at, first of all, the location, I scouted the location. It's called the Bartlett Arboretum and Gardens. It's here in Stamford, Connecticut. Beautiful place, 93 acres. Very
Oh,
well manicured property. It's amazing, right?
hmm.
One of my friends, after he saw the video, he said, "I didn't know you went to Africa. When did you go to Africa?" I said, "I didn't. That was right here in my hometown, like 20 minutes away from where I'm sitting right now." And the whole thing is that they were so enamored with what we were able to accomplish. By the way, the director's name is Scott Sniffen, childhood friend since 7th grade. And we shot that video there, and they're going to have their annual gala, which is supposed to be, would have been in October, but because of what's going on health
Yeah.
wise, they pushed it back to the spring. So they've asked me already if I would perform at the annual gala. So I'm going to do that. That I know. I was just talking the last couple of days with my team about coming up with what we would call a virtual promotional tour. So we're
Oh,
working out how we're going to do that.
well, that would be very interesting. I would think that that would be really kind of hard for just to your fans trying to get all your fans in one particular setting doing
Yeah.
virtual. I think that would be really interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
very much interesting. I get a ticket though.
Oh, absolutely.
I won't.
You're already in there.
Hey,
Your name's on the list already.
so Robbie, are you writing anything now?
Always. I'm always
Always.
writing. In fact, just for an example, when I did the hashtag Evolution album,
Hmm.
there's 10 songs, as I said. 5 of them I wrote the night before I recorded them.
Five
Um,
of them.
5 of them. So half the album was written like the day before I recorded those songs, music and lyrics. And I think it was pretty much because I was just kind of in a zone at that point, and it's
Hmm.
so I would come home from the studio and listen to something else, and I'd get an idea for something else, and then I would just immediately up, to my left, I have my keyboards and stuff set up over here, and then I would use the computer I'm on right now to do all my lyric writing. So I'd work on the track, and I'd turn over here and write some lyrics, and so I was kind of multitasking and getting it ready for the next morning. So a lot of times I'd be up until like maybe 2, 3 in the morning, and my
Hmm.
session would be at 10. So I don't
That
recommend that.
that's just the creative part of you, Robbie. That's all. So I am looking forward to what you have in the future coming. You know I'm your number one fan, so you got to keep me posted.
I
Um,
definitely will.
I am going to definitely ask you to come back at some other time to just kind of let us know what you're doing and how you're doing. And
Right.
I really appreciate you talking to me. I mean, this has been a long time coming, and we finally
Yeah.
managed to get it together.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for all your
Robbie,
support over the years,
you know it.
and moving so quickly on even on this latest, endeavor that I'm on. You were one of the first people to even play it, so thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, I feel so honored. I feel so honored. I do. But I mean, I've always, like I said earlier, I've always loved your music. I love the style. It's so different because it varies. I mean, not one song is going to fall back behind another one.
Right.
You're going to listen to it and go, oh, I really like that. And then you hear another, it's like, oh, I really like that too. So I do. I just love your style. I really do. So I'm waiting for the next song to come out
Thank you.
pretty soon.
Well, you'll be the first to know.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much. Well, Robbie, thanks again.
Okay. Thank
And
you so much, Nisi.
this has been Nessyp of Nessyp Entertainment. Back to you in the studio.